This is a getting started tutorial for the Unity plugin Soapbox, Easy Audio Management. You can add Soapbox to any of your objects in just a few short steps. In this tutorial, I'm going to be adding a Soapbox to our player object so that it can make sound when it jumps and when it shoots. Creating a Soapbox on an object is pretty simple. First, create an empty game object parented to that object. Attach to this the Soapbox Manager script. Next, we want to create another game object underneath this one for each sound that we want our object to be able to play. So I'm going to create another empty game object and call this shoot. And I'll call the first object Soapbox. And on to shoot, I'm going to attach an audio source and a Soapbox agent. So, firstly, if you want your agent to just play one sound, as a regular audio source would, you can simply attach the audio clip to the audio source as normal. However, if you want to be able to pick between a few different sounds, in this case, this is the shoot the shoot agent. I want it to be able to pick between shoot 1, shoot 2, and shoot 3 each time it's called. In that case, I'm going to use the shuffle list down here under Soapbox agent. Simply attach the sounds to this by dragging them one at a time. And when you use the shuffle list, you can leave the audio clip up the top blank because it will pick from these instead. Secondly, feel free to set up the base agent settings as well as most of the regular audio source options like volume and pitch. In this case, I'm going to leave the rest of them default, but let's create a second sound under our Soapbox as well. So you can create an empty game object or an audio source game object. Give it the name for your desired effect. This one will be jump. And add a Soapbox agent to it as well. This time I only have one jump sound to pick from, so I'm going to assign it to the audio clip slot. But I want this sound to randomly pitch each time it plays. So I'm going to turn up both the random pitch up and the random pitch down. I can leave the rest of these settings default. Also make sure that your audio sources have play on awake unticked, as well as probably loop, depending on what it is that your sources are doing. Okay, we have a Soapbox Manager underneath our object, and our object has a script on it. Let's interface with the Soapbox via our player script. I'm going to open the player script up, and the first thing we need to do is get a reference to the Soapbox Manager. This is the same as getting a reference to any other component, like a character controller or a rigid body or a collider, except it is in the cardboard keep namespace. So up the top, we need to say using cardboard keep. Now I can create a Soapbox Manager, and I tend to call them sound, but you can name this however you want. And I just need to assign that component to find the Soapbox that's underneath this object. Now remember, it's not on the object itself, it's on a sub-object, so we should use getComponent in children rather than getComponent. This is only going to happen once when the game starts though, so we don't have to worry too much about the performance. Alright, so I now have start equals getComponent in children, sound equals getComponent in children, Soapbox Manager. Now I can, on this Soapbox Manager, call any sounds that it has at particular times in my game. For example, the fire sound I want to happen when the player shoots. Here I have the code where my player shoots when the fire button is pressed. As well as instantiating a bullet, I can add a second line for sound.play. And into here, we simply have to pass the name of the agent that we want to play. If we go back to Unity and find the name of our agent, in this case the object is called shoot, we can simply pass shoot in as the parameter, and our line is complete. This means that the shoot agent with all of the properties we set up on it will play every time this line of code is called. Let's also find where the code is handling the player jumping, which is this part here. And we can add here sound.play jump. That will play our jump agent. So if I run the game now, we should see that when I shoot and when I jump, sounds are played. You'll notice because on jump we set the random pitch to be quite extreme, you'll get a lot of different sounds out of it. I'll jump a few times so you can see. Remember also on shoot that we added 3 different clips here under the shuffle list. The clips sound a little bit similar, they're only variations on the same theme, but you can hear that there are 3 different clips playing randomly each time it shoots. And note that that's without any pitching happening. You could also add pitching and have both effects at the same time to create even more variation. This was just a short overview of Soapbox in its current state. You can find Soapbox on the Unity Asset Store. There's a link in the description below, as well as links to our other plugins. If you've got any questions about this or our other plugins, you can leave a comment on this video or contact us at contact@cardboardkeep.com. Thanks for watching.